day to viewers, the Colonel speaking to you live from the Preceptory of British Imperial YouTube Broadcasting. What is this delightful little box? Little Teak tropical or colonial machine? It's a Peter Pan, and this came in with a collection of machines I bought fairly recently. It was in the garden shed of the former owner, painted green and looking very sorry for itself. I assumed it was one of the cheap nasty little Gramophone type things, or Peter Pans, which had had its wreck scene removed and painted green. But no, accidentally really, took it out of the box to look for something else. And I noticed the paint had chipped and there was graining underneath. Well, anyway, painting onto a varnished surface is not a very good idea if you want the paint to stay on. And the paint came off relatively easy. It was old-fashioned lead paint from about the 1950s. I would think, in fact, you can see a few spots of it that I've missed. That's annoying. But underneath was the original polish of the Teak. And here we go. Let's open him up. There's the horn. Oh, I'll have to put that down there. There we go. There's the horn, and those are all the bits. That's the tone arm, of course. I can get it out of there. Just go in. There we go. That clips on there. That's it. The that's the sound box. I might have to put you down a second. Yes, talk amongst yourselves for a moment whilst I put the sound box in. There we go. That requires a little bit of brute force. Right, here we are again. That's the handle. Which goes in the front. And that's the turntable, which is somewhat basic, but it does the job. Right, we'll find a record. And this is a Victor record. The Lullaby of Broadway, 24868. Here we go. Now, the controls on the front are relatively simple. Hopefully you can see that, or maybe you can't. It's a bit dark in here. There we go. Let's move it into the bit more into the light so we can see. That's the speed handle, of course, and this thing is the stop-start. There we go. Ah, that's right. It hasn't because the machine is on manual. That's it. Right. So if we start it, why is it not starting? It's catching on something. How annoying. This always happens. It worked perfectly earlier. Ah, there we go. The clip of the lid. Right. There we go. And let's see what it sounds like. There's a bit of flutter there. I think that's from the governors. Probably need to replace the springs. Oh well. Rather a nice little machine. A lovely sound from it. I must admit it's far more powerful than one would think. But a nice colonial model. You don't see very many of these. Or tropical. I suppose they're meant to look like some sort of tropical camera. It's not brass bound, although the hinges are lacquered brass and things like that. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. Thank you and goodbye.